The opinions expressed on Goddess of the Nile Radio are expressions for informational and entertainment purposes only, and are not intended as a diagnosis, treatment, or a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a professional for your specific needs or concerns. We encourage you to use the topics discussed to generate your own conversation within the community. Should you have any questions or concerns regarding the content of the show, please feel free to use the hashtag GNR or email lovenileradio@gmail.com.
Goddess of the Nile Radio would like to thank our social media sponsors, Dope Curves, Noah's Jungle Bunch, and Chelsea by Chance. Our anonymous sponsor for assisting in making this YouTube live possible. Our small business sponsors, Divine Chakras LLC and Haru Heads. Our artist sponsors, Tanisha Clark and Kenora Berry. Our spiritual supporters, Collective Conscious Minds, Yeshua's Lightworkers, Indigo 11, and Sacred Woman Indigo Circle. And a special thank you to our Patreon members and followers. And to the most important people that make this dream possible, you, our listeners. We are Goddess of the Nile Radio, and we do this for you.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio.
It is your birthright to accept and receive the goodness of the world, the tools to create your destiny, the love and nourishment from others, a life of abundance, days filled with propositions, manifested success coming from places that serve you, manifested success poured into your life and the lives of others. You are guided and given the authority to receive the gifts of the universe, for these gifts have already been given to you long before your arrival here. Your faith in yourself makes it real and opens the doors for manifestation to rush in. Your consciousness is open to receive and to give. It is your birthright, and it is done now.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio.
Through this mantra of manifestation, all things are possible. We proclaim absolutely that all of us are living in a friendly universe that is always providing for us. We have felt it happening, and we are feeling it happening now. We are open to receive more abundance than we have ever experienced before. We can afford and do anything that our heart desires. We need never to worry again. We are filled with an attitude of gratitude for what we already have and all that we are giving and ready to give. We keep ourselves lifted in high consciousness no matter what the appearances are. The universe is always providing in our favor. We are creators of our today and our tomorrow. Reciting a mantra is an excellent way to start your day. Calm you down while you are upset and refocus your consciousness. For a copy of this mantra, please feel free to visit our Patreon account by searching for Goddess of the Nile Radio on patreon.com. It's your girl Azure Neteru Gaia, and I'm out. Peace.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to Goddess of the Nile Radio, live right here on the WinDC Radio app and YouTube channel. It's your girl Azure Neteru Gaia of Goddess of the Nile Radio. I don't know if I said it or not. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I know that this is a show that I really needed to do, so I am definitely outside of my comfort zone. I am. And one of the things about being a spiritual teacher is sometimes you have to be outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes you got to talk about things that make you feel a little weird, you know? And one of the things that makes me feel a little weird sometimes is talking about sexuality. Talking about, you know, what your turn-ons are and what your turn-offs are and all that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a Scorpio. I'm a true Scorpio. I'm a double Scorpio. In all the sense of the word Scorpio. So that means I'm very affectionate. I'm very loving. I'm very caring. I have to connect to people physically as well as mentally. So that's a lot, that's me in a nutshell. But I'm also very shy. And it's difficult for me sometimes to express my needs and my wants when we're talking about, bunning up, hooking up, or booing up, right? So if I seem a little guarded or a little cold today, it's because I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. And I appreciate you guys for being here with me during this journey. And we're going to get all into the dangers of watching porn, okay? And you know me as a spiritual teacher. Before I get into the meat of the subject, which is the dangers of watching porn, I have to first and foremost talk to you about programming. I have to talk to you about programming when it comes to what we are seeing visually and what we are hearing, okay? So let's get into it. And that way, let me just go further. But if I explain to you the importance of knowing about how your brain and your subconscious is being programmed, then you'll be able to understand and hopefully receive my message about the dangers of watching porn, okay? So now I'm ready. Let's get into it. Mainstream TV is a way of transmitting visual programming for people. Our brains are relaxed by watching our favorite TV show. We are at peace, tuned in to every single word. So let's think about The Cosby Show. When we were growing up, we were influenced by The Cosby Show. We were influenced by watching Bill and I forgot his wife, but watching them too. I want to call her Phyllis, but that was not her name. But watching Bill Cosby and his perfect little family go through their life issues on television. And it was the show A Different World that influenced a lot of us to go off and go to college because we wasn't really caring about college. During the 80s and 90s, we had this sense of college was an option for us. We can either go to college or we can take up a trade. So when Different World came out, a lot of us wanted to go to HBCUs. A lot of us wanted to take that extra step and not go into a trade, but actually go to college. And we were influenced by these shows. A lot of people grew up also watching, the Mickey Mouse Show. I grew up watching the Mickey Mouse Show. I grew up watching Punky Brewster. And if you saw the show where my mom was a guest, she talked about how I was a little Punky Brewster running around the house. I love mismatched clothes, mismatched socks, and colorful hair. I was influenced by Punky Brewster. It wasn't that I necessarily related to her. I was actually influenced by her character, which made me feel free in looking a certain kind of way and being comfortable in a certain kind of way. So a lot of us are programmed without even knowing it by the shows that we are watching and the music that we are listening to. There was this one girlfriend of mine, and I used to go to the gym a lot. And as you can see, I haven't been to the gym in a while, but that's another show. But anyway, there was this girlfriend of mine that never wanted to talk on the phone. She always had to set like a date for us to go somewhere and like talk, So like I would be at the gym and she would call me and she's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm at the gym." And she'd be like, "Oh, I'm coming to the gym so we can talk." And she'll get like all dressed up and dolled up. And I'm looking at her like I'm literally in a pair of sweatpants and like this raggedy t-shirt with rips and stains on it. I'm just there for the workout. Not there to be pretty. And she was all like, it looked like she went shopping to have this like event take place, And when I saw her and I was going through it, I was like, whoa, I feel like she's being influenced by Atlanta Housewives or, or other shows, other reality shows where they always have to meet at a place and have a conversation. It's because it's a script. They're going along with the script. So anyway, the world of entertainment is a world of imagination that is given to us, that is programming us. We are not thinking on our own. So we are shutting down. When we are sitting in front of the television set, we are literally shutting down our own imaginations, our own version of entertainment. We are allowing for someone else to do all of the thinking for us. They're showing us what characters look like. They're showing us what characters should how they should act. They're showing us storylines. You know, they're showing us what we should eat, what we should drink, how we should have our relationships. When we are in tune with television or in tune with their version of entertainment, they are doing all of the thinking for us. When we are going out and we're buying music and we're into like the music of maybe a Drake or someone like that, we're allowing for someone else to make the decision on how the verses of a song, how instruments should sound, things like that. When we may have our own abilities, our own creative abilities to make our own songs. We're not making our own music because someone else is making it for us. We're not writing our own scripts because someone else is writing scripts for us. We aren't having community plays and community events like we should because someone else is doing it for us, right? A lot of artists struggle with not receiving the support from their communities. And where that support is coming from is because you have mass media that is producing these things for our community. We aren't producing it within our own communities. So that's where the detachment is coming from. It's hard for Little Ray Ray, the artist, to get people to come out to his show because media is telling us Britney Spears is better, you know, not Little Ray Ray. It's not cool to go and support Little Ray Ray because media isn't saying it's cool. The programming isn't saying to us, support your local artist, support your local musician, support your local writer. We have community writers. Have you ever taken the time to buy a book from your community author? I will promise you, your community author is probably 10 times better than the New York bestseller. Dead serious. Think of your life. Think of your life. Think of how much time of your life has been spent in front of the television or listening to the radio. How many of your decisions were influenced by what you saw on TV? How many of your decisions? How many of you guys made the decisions to go into the military because you saw a really cool military commercial? Or how many of you guys made the decision to cut your hair like the girl off of TLC, T-Boz? I know I did. The little page boy that was blonde with the stupid sideburns on the side. I know that's what I did. Heavily influenced by television. Television told me when skinny jeans were cool. Television told me when bell bottoms were cool. Television and also social media also influences my life as well, or had an influence on my life as well. So think about that. Think about how much of your life is actually being influenced by entertainment. We are being programmed by the TV all the time. We think characters in TV series are real. We talk about them like they are our friends. How many of you guys are going to be watching Power tonight? How many of you guys really got upset and like actually cried when the daughter was murdered? I know I used to love Walking Dead. I mean, I had to, like, if Walking Dead was coming on, I would leave wherever I was at. I would stop a conversation with my friends and my family, a good conversation. I would get off the telephone with someone because The Walking Dead is coming on. And Lord have mercy, don't let me miss an episode of Greenleaf. Yes, yes, yes. We talk about the characters on these shows like they are our friends. Hey, did you hear what happened to Joey in the last episode of Friends? Wasn't that crazy? If you guys watch Friends. We talk about imaginary people like they are real. Something tangible, right? And sometimes people believe, like if you are in, if you study psychology, some people would say that this is a form of psychotic behavior. To talk about characters on a screen and relate to characters on a screen as if they are really a part of our own lives. I know sometimes I would say that Wendy Williams is like the aunt in my head. Like, to me, she really feels like she's a relative. I don't know Wendy, and Wendy doesn't know Azure, you know? Are we living in a dream or in a fantasy world? And if we are, who are we allowing to create this fantasy for us? Right? So if we're being influenced by The Cosby Show, Different World, Power, Greenleaf, Atlanta Housewives, if we are allowing for this to influence our decisions, are we thinking about who is behind this creation of this fantasy world that we love so much to live in? Are you in control of this fantasy world? Or is mass media in control of this fantasy world? The God that everyone seems to worship right now is the one provided to us through media, mass media, social media, mass radio broadcasting. Listen to that word. Do you hear something in that word? Broadcasting. Isn't casting something that witches do? I know one thing. I'm going to let that idea swirl around in your head. During this music break, I want you to think about how you've been influenced by the things that you see on television, how you've been influenced by the things that you see in magazines, how you've been influenced by the music that you have listened to. And start all the way back. Take it back to when you were little. Take it back to when you were a little kid, to high school, to early 20s and on up. Take a look at that. Let that swirl around in your head. Then ask yourself, who is creating this fantasy world for you? I am Azure Neteru Gaia, and we are going to take a break. We'll be right back.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Now Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to Goddess of the Now Radio show, live right here on the WinDC Radio app and YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the dangers of watching porn. The dangers of dating during the first stages of your, I almost say your sobriety. What am I thinking about? That must have been a message out there for some of you guys. But during the beginning of your spiritual walk, like the dangers of dating while you're going through that whole entire process. And I was getting into, because before we talk about the dangers of watching porn, we first have to talk about fantasies, our fantasies, and who we are allowing to regulate our fantasies, right? That's something to think about. We have to think about, or we're supposed to think about during the break, how many of our personal life decisions were influenced by television or by the music that we listen to, okay? You see, the images that we are seeing in movies and television shows, they can easily make us laugh, right? A good comedy, Kevin Hart. They can make us cry. A good Tyler Perry play or a movie can make us cry. It can cause us to be fearful of things. Maybe we have a fear of snakes and don't know why. Could it be because of the movie Snakes on a Plane? You know? Where are fears really, really coming from? Where are they really, really coming from? Are they coming from us or are they coming from them? Okay? The news. You know, guys, I always tell y'all, turn off that news because the news can very easily generate fear. Have you ever ran to the grocery store and bought tons of bread and milk, you know, thinking that there's going to be this huge snowstorm and the snow comes and it's only an inch or two? That's that fear. What was wrong with the food you already had in your grocery, in your house? You have a whole huge freezer full of stuff. Like, did you really need to go out and get milk and cheese? Or did the news influence your decision? What about having doubt in yourself? What about doubting yourself? What if you are meant to be an entrepreneur? Maybe you're not meant to go to someone's learning institution, someone's university. What if you're not meant to do that? What if you're meant to actually be using your hands and taking a trade and building cars or fixing cars or doing hair and being a hairstylist? What if that's your destiny? Is what you're seeing on television, is it influencing you to go off to a university because they say that that's what you need to do? Are you afraid to travel to Africa because of the images that you see of Africa? Did you know that Africa has some of the best, most gorgeous beaches you could ever find on this planet? Yeah, they do that. You see, when we turn off the television or the mass radio production, see, WinDC Radio they're giving me a platform to talk to you guys. And it's independently owned. Yeah, it's independently owned. So the messages and the entertainment that you receive from WinDC Radio or from Goddess of the Nile radio show is coming from our hearts. We're not doing this to like program you. We're doing this to awaken you, to heal you, to let you know that, yes, when you support the small businesses, you're supporting your community. When you're supporting the small artists, the independent artists, you're supporting your community. You're keeping people off the streets. You're keeping them off of drugs. You're keeping them away from the entrances of 7-Eleven, always asking for $1. You're creating jobs within your community. See, we need to begin to leave our homes and go out into our communities and support our local artists, our local poet, our local singers. We need to gather together and have block parties. Our local catering business. You know Aunt Ray Ray or Renisha or Aunt Rhonda. You know Aunt Rhonda can cook. Maybe Aunt Rhonda needs to have her own catering business. Or remember the candy lady growing up? Whatever happened to the candy lady? Did she get replaced by corporate America? We are controlled through fear. We are controlled through fear. Many of us suffer from horrible anxiety. And fears comes from movies, music, advertising, and I'm going to hurt some feelings, but I got to say it, religions, and the government, or as they say from my neighborhood, the government. Okay? We are controlled through fear. There's a fear of war. There's a fear that there is not enough for everyone. So now we have less children. Our bodies are all out of whack because we're supposed to have, as melanin women, we're supposed to have an abundance of children. And we're told, oh, only have one. Only have two. There's not enough. You're making six figures and you're saying there's not enough. But you got little Keisha who's making $25,000 a year. She has 6 kids. And her kids are the flyest in the school building. And it's not because of welfare either. It's because Keisha's out here hustling. She's out here being an entrepreneur. That's what she's doing. They're teaching us that only those who prove themselves in the money game are allocated to resources. The only people who can make a whole bunch of money are the only people who can receive an abundance of resources. This way of thinking is limiting our natural way to evolve, our natural way of evolution. They limit us through copywriting our material. We don't want to give stuff away. We don't want to sing anymore in the middle of the community because we're afraid someone's going to steal our music. So what? If you're good, you're good. Sing in your community. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are like, no, you need to have your stuff copywritten. But don't allow for the lack of the funds of getting your stuff copywritten to stop you from getting your music out there, getting your message out there. Everything is not about social numbers or these rules or limitations. It's not. We do not have to march to these beats and these rules. We can make our own daggone rules. We can be independent artists and business owners within our own community. What if you are holding on to a piece of material right now that can save little Johnny's life? But you're sitting there holding on to it because you need to spend $300, $400 on licenses and stuff, right? Is that holding you back? Get it out there. Yeah, get yourself legit too, but put the stuff out there. I'm putting my stuff out there. Free 99 workshops. You know how Azure do. I'm giving it away because I'm not going to hold on to it while y'all sitting over there suffering and hurting and being programmed by this system. I got to sip some water. Give me a second. Because that's what y'all are doing. That's exactly what y'all are doing. You see, when we break free from that limiting system, when we see how things really are, we're not going to watch TV anymore. But if you want to keep on watching TV, then go ahead. But know that it is designed to keep us as consumers. It's not designed to get us healthy. It's designed to put us on their medicine and make us sick and make us afraid so they can continue to control us. It is using us only to make a certain group wealthy. That's the word I was looking for. Our behaviors are easily controlled and modified, like we're some type of model. We're beginning to resemble those of frightened sheep. Cardi B is the best rapper of all times. Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that? Really? Cardi B? Really? Who told y'all that? Because y'all didn't get that message from an OG. Y'all got that message from what y'all see on television. Oh my God, the Migos. The Migos is like a modern day version of Mobb Deep. Are you serious? And I know Auntie Azure is getting old. I'm already ancient. And I get it. And I love the Migos. They got nice beats. I like the way that their production their production is really cool to me. I don't like their lyrics, but the production of the music is really cool to me. And I have an open mind. But if something sucks, it sucks. If someone looks stupid because they're wearing something stupid, they just look stupid. Please don't tell me that they're allowed to look stupid because they're rich. That is something that just, it shivers my timbers sometimes. Shivers my timbers. Or whatever I just said. But what's happening is we are being controlled. And our body is being controlled. And when you turn on that television, it's almost as if we have a sedative that's implanted in us. Okay? So what does all of this talk that Azure's been doing for the past hour, what does all of this talk have to do about the dangers of porn? Why is porn so dangerous, Azure? I'm going to tell you guys why. Because sometimes the only way that you're going to be able to understand how something can affect you is if someone comes up and tells you face to face or voice to voice or ear to ear how it has affected them. So I'm going to tell you guys, I love to tell my stories.